There are currently 23 4-stars in Honkai Star Rail. 4-stars are considered easier to get compared to their 5-star counterparts, allegedly, which makes it even more important to know which is their best eidolons. In this video, I will be telling you the best eidolon for every 4-star character in Honkai Star Rail up to version 2.6. Let's get started with the first character on the list, Arlan. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend pulling on the banner just to get Arlan, but if you had to, a good stopping point would be his E2. It allows him to deal more damage with his skill and dispel a debuff on himself, which is good for his survivability as he tends to hurt himself. Asta. E2 is very important as it allows her to not lose any stacks of her passive that gives an attack boost after she uses her ult. As normally, once Asta outs, the stacks will disappear, but with this eidolon it won't. DanHeng. He is perfectly fine at E0. However, a noteworthy eidolon for him is his E4, as it advises DanHeng's next action by 100% after he defeats an enemy with his ultimate. He's like a melee silly, allowing you to execute another attack immediately, which is important in a turn-based game like Honkai Star Rail. Gallagher. His E2 makes him the best 4-star sustain we have. It makes him able to cleanse and provide an extra rest buff compared to his base kit. Guinaifen. E2 makes her burn damage increase, making her a better fire DOT unit if you use her for that. Wow, E6 makes her fire kiss that is a debuff last longer, which is good as enemies will take more damage for another extra turn. Hanya. E4 for sure. It allows her to extend her ultimate buff for an extra turn, which increases speed and attack, making the buff more consistent for your DPS. Herta. A good unit even at E0 as she excels in pure fiction regardless. A good eidolon that you can have is her E2. It increases her crit rate when her talent activates, which will be good for pure fiction as in that game mode, her talent activates a lot. Hook. She's an interesting case of, I don't know when you'll ever pick her over another fire character, but if I had to pinpoint an eidolon, I would say E6. Just because it will overall increase Hook's DPS and allow Hook to deal 20% more damage for enemies inflicted with burn, which her skill will do. Luka. An okay unit for bleed DOT even without eidolons. His E6 will increase his bleed damage and allow him to do insane amount of damage. Lynx. Her E2 allows her skill to make an ally resist a debuff, which is good for a sustained unit. This protects an ally from crowd control debuffs, which is really important especially in the endgame modes. March 7 Preservation. A fine unit if you don't have any better shielders, but surprisingly, E1 is a good eidolon for her. This is because her bonus ability increases the base chance of her ultimate to freeze enemies. And if you slap on an effect hit rate body on her, she will definitely have a high chance of freezing enemies. With this eidolon, she will be able to regain energy whenever she freezes enemies with her ultimate. March 7 Hunt. You're given all of her eidolons for free, so for Hunt March, her E6 is definitely an insane one for her as it increases her damage overall. She's a fine unit at E0 too. Misha. A okay unit for beginner players who are just starting out. His E2 is pretty good as it allows his ultimate to have a chance to reduce the defense of the target enemy. Moze. E2 makes him better than E0 Topaz as the buff is not just for follow-up attacks, making him more versatile. Furthermore, it makes him an even better support as he is able to buff crit damage. Natasha. Alright even without eidolons, but nowadays she isn't really used much as there are better healers. Pela. You do not need her eidolons for her to be a good 4-star. Her ultimate that acts as a defense threat is invaluable. E4 is good for supporting ice DPS. QingQue. Personally, I feel that her E6 is a great quality of life enhancement as QingQue uses a lot of skill points. Being able to recover a skill point after using an enhanced basic attack will help with skill point management, especially for newer players. Sampo. Good unit even without eidolons as he increases DOT taken with his ultimate. E6 is pretty good for his personal DOT damage. Serval. Okay unit without eidolons. E4 makes her more viable for DOT teams as her ultimate will apply shock 100% on enemies. Sushang. E1 is a good quality of life for her playstyle. She won't need to worry about using too much skill points, especially when her ultimate will give her an extra turn, leading her to use more skill points. Tingyun. Excellent unit even without eidolons. Her E6 is pretty insane as it gives even more energy to the team, making her an even better unit. Xueyi. E4 is the most relevant damage boost for her as it elevates break effect requirements for her and becomes even stronger with a good energy support. Yukong. E6. Yukong is known to be a character that is not as easy to play and requires precise speed tuning to have your DPS buff. With E6, you won't need to worry about her buff running out, as when she outs, she will gain it back. Thanks for watching. I hope this guide was helpful for you, and do let me know in the comments below your own thoughts and opinions. If you liked the video, do remember to subscribe and like.